Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Friday, October 14th, 2016. Something happened today that people need to hear. You need to hear. And I can't stress to you how important this is. And if you believe what I'm about to tell you is important, please share this video. What do we know has been going on status post the 2008 financial meltdown? We have seen a Federal Reserve run wild along with other world central banks who have scrambled to do everything that they possibly can to try to foster some type of a recovery, which we have none. All they have done, again, is inflate asset bubbles all over the place and buried the world in a mountain of debt that is truly, truly beyond belief. Now, today, Janet Yellen had a conference. At that conference, she expressed concern. Actually, a lot worse than that. Let me read a quote to you about the Federal Reserve's next move, or next most likely move. This is a quote from Janet Yellen. Here we go. The Federal Reserve may need to run a high-pressure economy, we'll talk about that in a second, to reverse damage from the crisis that depressed output, sidelined workers, and risks becoming a permanent scar. What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Despite the fact, this is a fact, we have not seen ever in history a financial institution or a central bank. It's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this. All the stimulus, all the money printing, all the digital bills that added to a screen, all of the asset purchases. We've never seen anything like this in history. Okay, what this has done has created, again, a bubble in debt which is truly unimaginable. Now, Janet Yellen, right here, is admitting that it didn't work. She's admitting that it did not work. Not only did it not work, she's saying that the Federal Reserve, okay, may need to run a high-pressure economy to reverse the damage that was done. In other words, she hasn't done anything. She hasn't reversed any damage. And now, if she doesn't run this high-pressure economy, it risks becoming, this is her words, this quote, becoming a permanent scar. What is that supposed to mean? Well, let's talk about what a high-pressure economy means. Basically, this. She's going to let inflation continue to move higher while continuing to suppress interest rates, which means, again, the saver or the average Joe out there is going to continue to be punished because they can't earn any cash with regard to a savings account, earning negative interest in parts of the world here, and you're going to have to start paying more for everything. So what this is going to do is continue the same, a fostering of a wealth transfer that has been underway since 2008. Understand, we've never seen this before. The gap between the rich and poor has grown wider than ever in history under this president, this administration, and this Federal Reserve. You really have to wonder, again, and I've been speaking a lot about this, are they that stupid? Did they not realize that what they were doing? How can they stimulate and print and buy assets and into infinity and expect it's going to help the average person? It's not going to. Anyone who had even the slightest idea of what the Federal Reserve has been doing would know this. So they can't be that stupid. They had to understand that all they were going to do is create these distortions that I have been screaming about for years. And this is going to destroy the middle class. People, let me tell you something else. There's something underneath all this that is so ugly and so disgusting that you really have to look at it for what it is. Again, so what do we have? A Federal Reserve that is clearly admitting, by Janet Yellen's own words, that she has to resort to further extremes, okay? Further extremes to, here's her words, the risk of becoming a permanent scar. If the Federal Reserve does not do this, the financial crisis could risk becoming a permanent scar on the economy. This is the only way that she sees, after everything that she's done, and all world central banks have done, to reverse the damage from the crisis that, her words, depressed output, sidelined workers, and again, risks becoming a permanent scar. Why aren't we hearing from any politician, President Obama, why isn't he getting on the TV right now? Why isn't Hillary Clinton or even Donald Trump talking about this right now? Because they're all part of it. You have to understand. So the dark thing that is lying under all this, people, is very simple. The middle class is being systematically and purposely wiped out. Okay? The wealth transfer, that wealth gap I spoke about, that is the biggest in history, is going to continue to get bigger. It's not going to change. The middle class is going to continue to be punished. They suffer the most here. Let's talk about why the middle class suffers the most. It's very simple. The rich are rich, and they're becoming richer and richer and richer. The poor are already destitute. They're already broke. So they really have not much more to lose. The middle class is supporting everything. The wealth is being stolen from the middle class, being transferred to the upper echelon of the society, and it's not going to stop. I promise you. I promise you this. If Hillary Clinton becomes the president, which I believe she is going to at this point here, because it's all a part of what is going on, okay? We're going to get more of the same. The middle class is going to be exterminated. Understand? Now, as the middle class collapses under all of this, okay, well, they're going to keep this going until the bubbles burst. The bubbles are going to burst. Under the next president, I can't imagine it's going to go on longer than that. Because this is a setup. Why is it a setup? Because it happens time and time again. The Federal Reserve, in collusion with the Wall Street banks, the financial institutions, and our policymakers, they allow bubbles to be blown, and then they let them burst. They get as many people as they can into this market on the long side, all of the average people in these 401ks and investment plans, then all of a sudden it evaporates, and all that wealth is simply transferred. They do this over and over and over again. This time is different because we've never been here before. Again, unprecedented action from world central banks. None more so than the Federal Reserve, and Janet Yellen right here today admitted it did not work. Not only did it not work, but she's going to run, or needs to run, a high-pressure economy to reverse the damage. You understand? It's all a setup, people. It's all a setup here. And if you don't see that by now, you are deluded. So, all of this is leading towards, well, war. I think you can see that already. The pawns are already being set in place here. One of our warships was recently attacked. I don't even know if you know about this. It's not getting any real media coverage. Iranian rebels apparently fired a couple of missiles at one of our ships. They didn't hit it. We retaliated. We hit a couple of their sites. And now the Iranian Navy is moving in over there. So it was that one hell of a deal you made, President Obama, with the Iranians. Congratulations on that. But look, this is all a part of the same thing. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but look at what's going on around you, people. If you don't see already that you, as a member of the middle class, more than likely that's who you are if you're watching this, are being systematically decimated and being set up for the slaughter, well, then you are blind. Not only are you being set up for the slaughter, you're going to be involved in a new world war, which maybe, if you're young enough, you're going to be fighting in it. So forget about all this talk about free education and free this. The only thing that's going to be free flowing is your blood and guts on some foreign battlefield. If you don't see that by now, again, you are way, way off the page. So this is all part of the same thing. Wall Street wants Hillary Clinton. Wall Street is going to get Hillary Clinton. I've been telling you this for the longest time. She's going to maintain the status quo. Janet Yellen will stay in her position. If Donald Trump were elected, she would be out. If Donald Trump were elected, Wall Street would face some consequences, but understand. Do a little research on this. Don't take my word for it. Hillary Clinton is bought and paid for by Wall Street. This is all a scheme, everything, to get her into office, to allow the middle class to fall, to be eliminated. There will not be a middle class in a few years. There's no doubt about that. We're going to have the haves and the have-nots. I've been telling you this for years, and for years the middle class has been under attack and being decimated under all of these policies that are being put on purpose. Understand, the next few steps are pretty simple. Hillary Clinton gets into office. She changes whoever she wants to change around there to affect our Constitution. The Supreme Court, forget about it. Second Amendment, forget about it. Again, all of this is just a setup. And if you cannot see this by now, you're going to suffer the most here. But there's no way out of it. There's no way out of what is coming here. Understand that. And it's a setup too. The Federal Reserve is doing what they always do. They are a serial bubble blower. And they burst these bubbles. And all of that wealth that gets put into the market gets transferred. Now, I'm not saying that this market's going to crash anytime soon. I am done trying to pick tops. It can't happen. You cannot do this in this environment. Again, right here today from Janet Yellen saying she's going to run this high-pressure environment means she's going to maintain easy monetary policy for as far as the eye can see. It's not going to stop. That means the only trade in town is risk on. That means the stock market is going to keep moving up. The debt bubble will keep getting larger, pulling the stock market with it until it doesn't. Until it doesn't. Let me just, I know I'm going off on a tangent here. It's probably one of my longest videos, but let me ask you, how do you think any conflict with Iran or anything over there is going to affect crude oil? How many times have you heard me tell you they won't allow crude oil to fall? They will come up with scheme after scheme, lie after lie to keep crude oil propped up. It's a backdoor bailout for the banks, backdoor bailout for the Wall Street institutions by keeping crude oil higher because they are heavily invested in crude oil and leveraged. So if they need to fire a few missiles or sink a few ships over there, that's what they'll do to try to keep the crude oil higher. You understand? And the market is dependent on that. The market is dependent on crude oil being higher. Crude oil goes lower, it will pull the stock market with it. They're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to allow that to happen. So let's see how this plays out now with Iranian warships now moving closer to U.S. warships here. You can see the writing on the wall. Anyway, look, I know I've gone over a lot of stuff in this video, and I would love to hear from you. I promise to read the comments. Comment here. Let me hear what you think is really going on. Let me know what you think about this, what Janet Yellen is saying here. Let me repeat. The Federal Reserve may need to run a high-pressure economy, this is I'm quoting her, to reverse damage from the crisis that depressed output, sidelined workers, and risks becoming a permanent scar. So, Janet, what you're trying to say is everything that you've done up until now, all the money printing, all the stimulus, all the backdoor bailouts for Wall Street here, all the stock buying that you're doing through dark pools didn't help. All it's done is foster the wealth transfer, make it even worse while the middle class, all of us, are getting crucified. People, we have no one to back us up here anymore. You understand that? And I can promise you that Hillary Clinton is only going to make all of this much worse. Donald Trump, in my opinion, doesn't have a chance anymore. Understand, Wall Street wants Hillary Clinton. Wall Street will get Hillary Clinton. Over and out. It's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this. All the stimulus, all the money printing, all the digital bills that added to a screen, all of the asset purchases. We've never seen anything like this in history. Okay, what this has done has created, again, a bubble in debt which is truly unimaginable. Now, Janet Yellen, right here, is admitting that it didn't work. She's admitting that it did not work. Not only did it not work, she's saying that the meltdown. We have seen a Federal Reserve run wild, along with other world central banks who have scrambled to do everything that they possibly can to try to foster some type of a recovery, which we have none. All they have done, again, is inflate asset bubbles all over the place and buried the world in a mountain of debt that is truly, truly beyond belief. Economy, we'll talk about that in a second, to reverse damage from the crisis that depressed output, sidelined workers, and risks becoming a permanent scar. What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Despite the fact, this is a fact, we have not seen ever in history a financial institution or a central bank. Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Friday, October 14th, 2016. Something happened today that people need to hear. You need to hear. And I can't stress to you how important this is. And if you believe what I'm about to tell you is important, please share this video. What do we know has been going on status post the 2008 financial? Now, today, Janet Yellen had a conference. At that conference, she expressed concern. Actually, a lot worse than that. Let me read a quote to you about the Federal Reserve's next move, or next most likely move. This is a quote from Janet Yellen. Here we go. The Federal Reserve may need to run a high-pressure economy